I'm off from college because it is winter break, so you know what that means? That's right, Christmas special. I wasn't gonna let you guys hanging, honestly. I kinda have left you hanging for most of the channel's lifetime. And yeah, I've learned quite a bit from being in college and being in a college big band. I also made the decision to join not just one, but 3 jazz bands, plus a fusion band, but it's complicated. And as a Christmas slash holiday slash whatever you celebrate gift from me to you, I'll be explaining some tips and tricks as a big band drummer, a small group drummer, and all the other bands that I'm in, and the little things that people expect you to know, but no one really tells you. And that's going to be all in this one video. So I hope you enjoy. So first off was auditions, and I didn't really know what to expect. I am a very literal person. I need very specific rules and boundaries, but my school's a little bit more informal. All I got was an email saying prepare some music, just prepare to show off your skills, try to be as well versed in literally every genre there is in jazz, and that's a lot of genres, A, and B, I will be explaining that later in the video. Anyways, I was very confused, so I sent an email back to my jazz band director, and he was amazing as always, and he said to bring sticks and to have a sheet of music to play, or if I didn't have that, to have a song that I was ready to play that we could play either over the loudspeakers or on headphones. I actually don't really know how it would work out. It went differently, that's all I know. As in, it didn't go as I planned it, because things happen. So here's what you should do at an audition. I primarily recommend getting some music together. If you have sheet music, amazing. I couldn't find any sheet music, so I personally went with another song that I had been really into at the time, and it was a Thelonious Monk song by, I think it was called Take 8 Monk's Dream, maybe. But I decided to play that and play along to a recording. So just picking a song that's not too popular, but also not too obscure. Tip: don't play Take 5. That's the most overplayed audition song ever for drummers. I would suggest doing a song not Sing Sing Sing. We just don't do songs that are super popular for drummers. People will be expecting it, and it will automatically kind of make you blend in with everyone else, and you don't want that to happen. So what I would recommend doing is finding a song that you really like dig a little bit deeper into some musician's music and get into the good stuff, not just the over popular stuff, get into some of their good stuff that really resonates with you personally, and play that. That's my tip for you. Essentially what happened with me is that I found a clarinet player. He ended up being amazing, and we just hit it off at all week, became close friends. So then we made a plan. Instead of playing to a recording, we would just play together in the audition. And I was personally am I allowed to do this? Will we get kicked out? No, we actually did pretty well, I'd say. So that's good. So if you can find any other musicians that you really click with, if you're at college, then amazing. That's awesome. Play with them if you can. But if you can't, then just, get a recording, play it over the loudspeakers, or get sheet music. I'm kind of giving just tips of what I know from my college. Other colleges, such as music colleges, they may have a more strict audition process, and I have no clue what that looks like. But from my personal experience, these are my tips. Here's what to expect when you have an audition. Generally, what's going to happen is that they're going to find what your skill level is, and they're going to place you in the correct band. At least that's what happened with my experience. What happened with me is there was actually a sign-up sheet, and I was able to pick from a list of options. What did my schedule look like? Did I want to do small group / combos? And all of these extra little things that will essentially process you into these bands and sort you out. And what happened with me is during the audition, they kind of see what skill level you're at, and then they put you into the correct band. Essentially, the bands that I got put into were the middle level big band jazz band, and also a combo called Vocal Combo, where we play Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald and Frank Sinatra tunes, and those have been really fun. some of you may be asking, like, which band should I join? I would personally say any band you can join. If you're looking for that experience, join as many bands as possible, but plan around your schedule, especially if you're in college. If you're in high school, I don't know, why are you watching this video? But essentially, yeah, if you have the time and are looking into getting big band drumming, and you really want to get that full experience, I would recommend going into a big band, like a combo, and like maybe some other bands. But the more bands, the better, because you're going to have way more experience playing with musicians and playing your instrument. Now's on to the importance of subgenres of jazz, and there's a lot. So according to Google, you have jazz, which is very, very helpful. So there's a lot of these, and this is not very helpful. So the main types of jazz that you will be playing are most likely big band jazz, New Orleans jazz, swing, mainstream, and perhaps a little bit of Latin jazz, especially if you're in a big band. Cool jazz, that's gonna be a lot of combo stuff, as well as bebop. These are normally two genres meant for smaller groups of musicians. You're not going to be seeing a lot of free jazz. Free jazz is a lot more experimental, and I mean, sure, I mean, I guess some teachers would do it. What Google hasn't told us is that there's, inside of jazz, there's not just those genres. Like in Latin, there's bossa nova, Afro-Cuban, songo. There's plenty. I don't think I pronounced songo correctly. If I pronounced it wrong, please tell me in the comments if anyone watches this video. An important tip that I have when you're getting into this jazz band stuff, especially jazz band drummers, is take song suggestion. If someone explains to you their favorite jazz artist, which you will 100% get someone who will say, oh, my favorite jazz artist is like Chet Baker or like Count Basie or Duke Ellington or whatever. And so if someone says that, write it down, remind yourself to look at it. If you're like me and super forgetful, just remind yourself to look at it later on in the day. Take a listen to some of their records and just dig deeper into the music. And being able to do that, you will be able to understand the styles of each individual musician in that band and what makes it different than other music. Another reason why it's good to listen to all these genres of music, specifically all these genres of jazz music, is that you can learn these different beats and like these different grooves, because they're extremely important. Like learning the bossa nova groove is vital to playing in a small group. There's a 70% chance that you will play a bossa nova song in a jazz combo. It's not easy to switch over from like a basic rock beat to learning this kind of hemiola of a groove. So here's some tips that some people have mentioned, some people haven't mentioned. It really depends on your big band director, etc. But yeah, here are the big band tips, specifically big band. An important thing that you need to do is you need to be able to play in time. And obviously, this is like the drummer's #1 job. But like, also, it kind of gets forgotten a ton. It becomes super flashy. It becomes about tricks. It becomes about overplaying. And that's not what drumming is about. It's about keeping time, making the other player's job easier. And overall, it's not about you. Unless there's a drum solo, then it's an exception. But it's very rare. They don't let us have drum solos. Sorry, I'm looking at my list right now. Play loud and confidently when you're supposed to. This is extremely important. I was very timid playing drum set. I started out with a worships background. I played for a lot of like Sunday services. I was like the go-to drummer. And so I just kind of learned the basic beat, like just the whole entire time. You know, I'll maybe switch to the ride cymbal, play on that. But other than that, it was kind of I don't want to say boring, because it was a good experience, but it wasn't very stimulating the brain for the drumming brain. But yeah, if you don't play loud in a big band, they're not going to hear you, A, and B, the tempo's not going to be there, and C, generally, big band is a lot about drums. I know I just said the spotlight isn't really on us, but it kind of is sometimes. It's kind of important for us to play in very loud, very big, kind of flashy songs, such as a lot of Count Basie, Duke Ellington, just the old swing stuff like Benny Goodman. A lot of that requires more drums involved. Something that is extremely important in jazz is the hits. Hits are essentially certain rhythms or like beats you're supposed to hit, hence the name, that make the trumpets drop easier so they don't have to count as much, and also so that it fills in the space a little bit more. When I hit the crash cymbal, the bass drum, the snare drum at the same time, doing these little hits on the accents. So yeah, that's what hits are. During endings of songs, you're going to get a lot of like tom rolling. That's kind of your time to shine, depending on the song. What you need to do is actually hold up. I'm just going to go to the drum set real quick. Alrighty, one sec. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go on the toms and you're supposed to kind of like roll around, like noodle around. And then you're supposed to find something like a snare drum or a bass drum or like anything really. And you just need to slow down, and then you need to raise your arms up and you need to hit the crash cymbals to like end the song. So I'll give you a good example. So you may be asking yourself, who should I get to know? Like, what do I do in the social aspects of the big band? And the answer is, it really depends on each individual big band. But from my experience, get to know everyone. But if you're more introverted, I would suggest getting to know the bassist, the lead trumpet player, or all the trumpets if possible, and the piano player. And also another important thing is get to know the drummers. If you have any other separate drummers that trade off with you, get to know them. Become friends with them if you can. It's extremely important to get to know your other drummers so you can cooperate with them and be able to trade off songs and communicate with them on what songs that you want to play and to make compromises pretty much. There's this huge misconception that there's like a rivalry between drummers, and I believe that has come around by the movie Whiplash. And Whiplash, don't even get me started. It's extremely inaccurate. And if you are like me and kind of got introduced by Whiplash to big band drumming, then just forget literally everything that Whiplash teaches you. It's extremely inaccurate, and just go get the experience for yourself. I was honestly genuinely very, very curious how the big band experience would be like, and if it would be semi-accurate to Whiplash. It's not, trust me. Don't make it a rivalry. Don't make it about yourself. It's music. It's supposed to be fun. Get to know everyone if you can, especially the drummers. Combo tip time. So combos are essentially just small groups. They're the same thing. And when in combos, I would recommend being able to play quietly and to be able to play with brushes. Being able to like give everyone else cues with just simple like head nods, especially during soloing and stuff, and when you kind of have to interact with each other while you're playing, like where you can't like you just yell in the middle of like a coffee shop or like a gig or whatever. That's another skill that I would recommend learning. Being able to not just multitask with playing, but also multitask with your body movement and your body language to other musicians. So like real books. I didn't know what real books were until I asked. That's another thing, is asking. Super helpful. Don't feel stupid. There's no such thing as a stupid question, especially if you're just learning and if you don't have that high school experience like moi. But I didn't know what real books were, which is kind of embarrassing, but it's fine. I didn't really know. I didn't have the experience. But real books, long story short, they are like books with like pages upon pages of classic jazz standards. And standards are songs that have been played over and over and over again, and they're amazing songs. And all the real book is, it's showing the melody, the chord progression, and all these important things for the other musicians. But specifically how it's important for us is we use it to know what the form is. And the form is, if I had like 4 bars of beat, 2 bars of fill, or like building, then you consistently have that through a song. That's a form. Third jazz band that I'm in is called Video Game Jazz, or more generally video game music, but we primarily play jazz. Video Game Jazz is a student-led group at my school, and it's a lot of fun. And we play just random pieces of video game music. And a thing that you can do is you can compose your own music, your own scores, and it's generally just a lot of fun. There's less pressure in a student group, like a student-led group. And also I get to play with people who are from higher like level jazz bands and have completely different experiences than I do. Another thing that I've learned from being in Video Game Jazz is that when we pick up a sheet of music, I can just ask the person that's in charge, like, what style is it? What tempo is it? And like, he'll tell me, oh, it's a bossa nova. It's at like this tempo around here. And with that information, I will be able to pick up the song and kind of start to like almost sight read it as I'm playing it. And this is a really helpful tool, especially if you get onto a gig and you're not ready or you forget your music or something. Being able to play like spur of the moment and being able to pick up on other musicians as you're playing and like the general piece of music and be able to understand where you're at is so important. And what's great is that there is a very simple way that you can do this. You can literally just go online, especially like go on YouTube and look up big band jazz drum lists or like jazz drum lists. And so it won't have any of the drums in it, and you'll be able to play along. And what's great is that you'll be able to understand the form of the song as you're playing and be able to get that experience of not having sheet music. And obviously I do recommend knowing how to read like music and like sight read actual sheet music, but being able to sight read without music has helped me a ton, and I really do recommend getting that under your tool belt. Thank you for watching this video. I hope I gave you some helpful tips, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments if you'd like. I wish happy holidays to you all, and I will see you eventually. I really do not know when I will be doing this again, because I'm going to be very busy next semester. Especially with 4 bands. Oh, by the way, I'm also in a fusion band. We're starting it up. We're calling it Princess Point, and we play a mix of alternative jazz and some other genres that we're just mixing in there. I believe we're playing a little bit of electronic ambient drum and bass. It's kind of all over the place, but we're figuring it out, and I will keep my YouTube/Instagram updated so people can know what's going to happen with that. So yeah, have a great day, everyone. Stay safe and keep drumming.